Happy Sunday, everyone. In today's video, we'll be using some of our squeeze tools to try and find likely candidates that have a nice bearish squeeze forming that's likely to fire short soon. Now, for all Volatility Box members, you can download the tools I'll be using in today's video for free from our website. That's tosindicators.com/squeeze-course. Once you're on that page, scroll down, and there you can find the squeeze signals indicator, the back tester, and the scans. And all of these are included for free with your membership. Now let's start first with the scan, and I've set the scan to a weekly time frame chart here first. Now off of the weekly time frame, these are the results we get when we run the scan for the bearish squeeze signal. Now most of these are Schwab or iShares or S&P products, Vanguard products, but there's two sectors that are liquid sectors that stand out, and that's XLC and XRT down here at the bottom. Now before we dive into charts, take a look at their relative performance when compared to the S&P 500. Both XLC, the communication sector, along with the retail sector, have underperformed when you compare that to the S&P 500 over the past 30 bars. And this is on the weekly time frame, so 30 weeks. So in this case, we have a bias to the downside, where we have a bearish squeeze signal plotting, and we know both of these sectors are underperforming compared to the broader index. Now let's come into the chart of XLC here. We'll start with XLC first and take a look at what this signal looks like. This is a weekly time frame chart. We have the bearish squeeze signal plotting with our most recent week's close here, and we're quite a bit of a ways away from the market pulse line. This line right here is our typical entry point. Currently that's plotting at 60.87, and we're near that 53.84 mark. So keep in mind, this is a bit extended from where we would like it to be in terms of an ideal entry. Now to the downside, we have that nice round number at 50 as our target zone. That 50 also overlaps with the 50% retracement, so if we do break below this low right here, which that low is currently at 52.74, I believe, yep, 52.74, then that would really open up ways for 50 to be a very likely target to get hit, which you could even play on the day trading side using this weekly time frame bias we have. Take a look at the squeeze down here as well. The squeeze has been increasing in momentum. However, that histogram is still well below zero. So our bias here is that, hey, the squeeze is likely to fire short. Now, the way we could confirm that or really have that momentum increase is once we see that first red bar after this yellow histogram bar. That would be your sign that, hey, now momentum is increasing to the downside. Really likely that, in this case, XLC, that squeeze is going to fire short, taking us to at least that 50 round number that we have. Now, the way that I would play this, actually, before we move on to that, let's do the same exercise on XRT here. XRT, a little bit less extended. That market pulse is at 70.09. Same idea with the histogram. Momentum right now is increasing, and we're looking for that to start to shift gears and start to decrease, which would be really your cue that, hey, the squeeze is now likely to get going. Now, the way that I would play both of these sectors is if we come into something like a 1 minute time frame chart here, inside of, let's use XLC here first. What we're looking for is trying to find entries in which we have a short side setup. So on Friday, for example, this was a prime example of what we're looking for. Price action rallies into the upper edge of our volatility box clouds or zones. Once we have that, we see the edge signal, which tells us that, hey, XLC is officially overbought, and we're really looking to fade away from this region, looking for a sell-off. In the case of XLC here, between that 7 to 8 a.m. Pacific hour, we saw the breach of the upper side of our volatility box zones. We had the edge signal confirmation, and then really the broader markets, not just XLC, had a pretty dramatic sell-off, taking us in that 9 to 10 a.m. hour outside of most volatility models that we had available. So this is the overall premise, what we're looking for here. We have our bearish bias from the weekly time frame chart. We're looking to try and take advantage of any intraday opportunities with that bearish bias in mind. Our ultimate goal in XLC is that 50 price point. And if I come back to XRT, The round number for XRT, if we switch back to the weekly time frame chart here, is really near the lows, near that 60 price point. And if we do extend below that, you have 55 as your next major round number that you could use as a target. So hopefully today's video helps to give you an idea of two specific sectors where we have a nice squeeze forming. We have signals which would lead us to have a bearish bias. We still have the bearish bias on the longer term index markets as well, really stemming from S&P 500. And we're looking for these two sectors to really continue that momentum being driven to the downside. Again, for all Volatility Box members, you can download the tools, the backtesters, all of that good stuff directly from the Squeeze courses website. And there, I would recommend going through the modules because you'll also find things like the slingshot squeeze, which would be very interesting to layer on here as well. Find other sectors that might have those signals printing, along with just places where we have an interesting squeeze forming of stocks inside of those sectors. All right, I hope you found this video useful. Take care, everyone. Good luck trading, and I'll see you in the next update.